pleasure to make the reacquaintance with Mike Olson down here at the F.U.N show in January of 2023. Mike, tell us a little bit about the Astronaut Memorial Foundation. I know it's something very near and dear to your heart.
It is, Larry. The Astronaut Memorial Foundation was founded after the Challenger accident, and our mission is to memorialize astronauts who have given their lives in service to the United States. We have the Space Mirror Memorial at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center, which we have the National Day of Remembrance to remember the fallen astronauts. We have a ceremony there every January. We also have the Center for Space Education right next to the Space Mirror Memorial, and there we provide educational opportunities for students and instructors that want to further their education and careers in STEM-related fields and inspire the next generation of astronauts and engineers.
Well, and just as we are talking here, they're announcing the fact you got a special guest down here. We're going to talk to her a little bit later on here, but your involvement in numismatics has made this connection.
Yeah, I was appointed I got a congressional appointment to the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee in 2009. And as you know, they have authority to recommend commemorative coin programs up to 5 years out. In 2014, I made the recommendation that the moon landing 50th anniversary be commemorated with U.S. Mint coins in 2019. I worked to get bills introduced in the House and Senate, and with a great team of many, many other unsung heroes, we did get that legislation passed. The coins were produced in 2019, generating about $8.5 million worth of surcharge that was split between three organizations: the Smithsonian Institution for their moon exhibit in D.C., the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, which is another foundation down here in Florida, and the Astronaut Memorial Foundation, of which I now serve on the board as treasurer.
So indeed, last year we had the chance to meet you and see the coins here, but we've got another new and exciting initiative that's taking place here. Should we bring in a special guest here?
Yeah, we've we've partnered with Yuri Shopshaw and to produce a collectible note. We've got a special advisor to the foundation, Bob Malore, who worked as a liaison with the folks that put this collectible note together, and we're selling that as a fundraiser here at the F.U.N show. We're also selling slabbed Apollo coins with both Fred Hayes, the Apollo 13 astronaut, and my signatures on the slabs in very limited quantities. So we'd invite everyone to come by the booth and check us out. We are also honored to be joined by astronaut Laura Shepard, who is the daughter of the first American in space, Alan Shepard. She's here at the booth too, meeting people.
We've got so many things going on. Let's see if we can bring Yuri in right now. I'd like to step in. Come on in here. Yuri Shopshaw, who is responsible for the activity that we have here in the 2023 coin show, and he's got some very special products. Yuri, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us today.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about the background of how this developed.
So this actually developed last year at the F.U.N show, where I was selling a product that we manufactured for under license with Walt Disney companies in the entertainment space. And Bob Malore approached me and he asked about the product. He asked about the technology that was on the product. And that's how we consummated the idea of using the same technology to produce a product for the Astronaut Memorial Foundation.
And this product now is a note rather than the coin that we were talking about earlier.
They're both, well, you're referring to the Apollo 11 coins, I think. But we had a product that we manufactured for Golden Girls and other Walt Disney franchises that was similar to this. In fact, we reused the border that was on the Disney products on the Astronaut Memorial Foundation note. So the intaglio border that you are seeing on the front of the note is the same border that was used on the Disney products.
So it's great that development work was already done, but there was still a lot more work to be done to get this to market.
Absolutely. So I think the main work was in design, getting the design right. It was an honor personally to be asked to do this. These fallen men and women, they represent the best this world has to offer. We're doing this for a great cause, so we're helping the foundation to raise money, and the design was key. So we wanted to make sure that we memorialize the fallen astronauts in a very tasteful, very subtle way. And that's one of the key missions of the foundation, the other mission being educating the public about space exploration. And what we have done on this design, which I think is fabulous, we've represented the fallen astronauts as stars on the face of the note. And if you notice, the stars are grouped together, and that represents the various accidents that occurred. So, for example, Columbia Challenger, we lost 7 astronauts in each one of those accidents, and you see a grouping of 7 stars that represents the accident. And finally, we wanted to show this incredible connection that people that achieve extraordinary things, and I'm referring to the astronauts, we wanted to show that incredible connection they have with all of us, and we have done this with a very cool invisible UV visible ink feature, so you don't see it with the naked eye, and you need a black light to reveal it, and I'm going to demonstrate it right now.
All right, I want to see this right here. You can see it on the video. Make the connection.
So it's a hand of an astronaut touching a human hand, and that represents the connection that we have to people that achieve extraordinary things in their careers. The back of the note, let me mention one other thing. Normally you have a serial number on banknote-like products, which is what this is. So there's all kinds of government-level security features that are on this note. So this paper is completely custom. It was made specially for this project and some other R&D efforts that are in flight. This paper has a true Fundrinier watermark. So if you hold the note against the light, you're going to be able to see a repeating rope watermark pattern. This paper has anti-alteration features. So if you attempt to erase a serial number or alter any elements of the note, it will permanently discolor. This note also has invisible fibers. So invisible fibers form a unique signature or fingerprint or DNA, and there is a pattern on the front of the note and there is a different pattern on the back of the note, and we're developing some cool anti-counterfeiting technologies using some of those security features. We also have intaglio border, which I mentioned before, on the front of the note. The border is presented in 24 karat gold infused ink. It looks absolutely stunning. The shimmer of it is incredible, and if you have a jeweler's loop with a light or just natural light outside, that would be the best way to view it. But this intaglio ink is absolutely incredible on the product. We also used, for the serial number, a NASA countdown clock. So kind of like when you're watching a space shuttle launch and they're doing the countdown, 10, 9, 8. We did something very cool with the countdown clock. We used it as a serial number. So every single note has a different second on the countdown clock, and that's the serial number of the note. If you look at the back, Artemis 1 returned to the moon, successful mission with a successful splashdown. We have some fun facts about the mission, and we have some artwork from that mission as well. This is going to be a series, so this is a first in a series, and we're looking to do Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 and so on and so forth, and possibly other series as well. And this is all done for a great cause. We're supporting the foundation, and it's just a great product to own.
Indeed, and a lot of great features about it too that make it so unique. You got to have one.
Absolutely, and sure.
We've got some other unique products. Yuri, thank you so much for your time. Let's bring in Bob Malore now, as Bob has taken it a step further here. Beautiful. This is the life-size notes that you see right there with the countdown. You'll note the numbers are different as 450, 451, but you still have all the groupings of the stars that's so very important in that. Bob, these are beautiful.
Well, thank you very much, Larry, and we appreciate this opportunity with you. What you're seeing here are notes that are sequential in the countdown clock. We've employed, as Yuri said, the NASA countdown clock to be where that numbering system can be found. However, we wanted to do something very special for the stamp community as well. And so what I did was I actually went to the Kennedy Space Center, and if you can zoom in on the back of the notes, you'll see that we have cancellations with the American flag forever stamp. And with those cancellation stamps, I had them canceled for the launch date of the Artemis 1 mission, which is highlighted on the back of this note, and the splashdown date off of California's coast for when that date occurred in December as well. We actually have only 100 of these notes that are stamped at the Kennedy Space Center post office. To get these stamped there, you have to be an active employee at the Kennedy Space Center to have access to that post office. The other thing I'd like to mention is, for the sequential numbering as we spoke about, there are only 18 sets of 2 where you would get one launch date note and one splashdown date note canceled. So they're very, very special, Larry.
Indeed, to have something like that is just so awesome. The design, we talked about how well that is, but then to get the extra on the side of it for our philatelic friends right there, that's a nice touch.
It really is, and we think that with such a limited edition of these, they're going to go very fast.
No question about that. How are they going to be able to acquire these?
Yes, we have the website through elitecoinage.com. They will be offered there. And the Astronaut Memorial Foundation, which you can look up online as well, will also be offering them on their website. Awesome, both of those.
All right. Now, we're at the Fun Show talking about this, and it's been very brisk. I mean, we met last year at the Fun Show.
Yes.
Now coming back here once again this year, but you brought a special guest this time.
We sure did, and I want to introduce Laura Shepard to you, if I could, please.
All right. We'll bring her right up here now. It is indeed a pleasure to make Laura Shepard Churchley.
Hello.
So good to see you today.
Thank you. It's lovely to see you. This is a great place.
This is fantastic. With this opportunity we can have to benefit the good cause of the Astronaut Memorial Foundation. You are the daughter of Alan Shepard, and you are also the designation of the second-generation astronaut because you were able to make a trip. Tell us a little bit about your mission.
It was. My mission and Daddy's mission were exactly the same, only different. Daddy's was 15 minutes long. Mine was 11 minutes. Daddy flew his mission. We had a ride. Our spacecraft was pressurized, so we didn't have to wear helmets. We just wore our flight suits. Daddy went 140 miles into space. We only went 66 miles. The Kármán line, which is the line that tells you if you've gone into space or not, is 62. So we just went just over the Kármán line. And weightlessness, we had 3 minutes of weightlessness. Daddy was strapped in because he was flying his mission, so he didn't have that. The straps told him that it was weightless because they were floating. But it was the most fun I've had in a very, very, very long time.
So now my question is, since your father was able to go to the moon as well, is that still on your bucket list?
Well, I talk to a lot of elementary children, and I tell them that they're the generation that's going back to space. And when they get to the moon, would they please look for Daddy's golf balls? And they could keep one, and I want the other one.
That would be great because, I mean, he didn't have to worry about woods or water up there when he hit that famous golf shot right there. Tell us a little bit more about your mission now. You were not alone in this mission.
No, there were 6 of us. We were the 3rd manned launch of Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, named after my father. Michael Strahan from Good Morning America, and he played football for New York Giants for a long time. He and I were kind of the celebrities. Okay. And the other 4 one of them was a father-son team, and then 2 were billionaires. So we had a wonderful training. We trained for 3 days. We trained in a simulator which was identical to our spacecraft. And we would get in and put our harnesses on. Our trainer would close the door, and then we would be in there for 11 minutes. We would have a clock that told us how high we were going, how fast we were going. And only thing that they simulated were the sounds that we were going to be hearing, which was lovely. Because once we had the flight, we were doing our flight, whatever sound would come up, oh, the booster is separating from us. We knew exactly, so there was no fear.
That makes it great when you know what you're going through, because your father was a pioneer. He didn't have some of the luxuries you had.
No, he didn't. He trained for 2 years, but they did a lot of training in the swimming pool for when they were to feel weightless. I felt weightlessness when Daddy would fly us around from Houston to Austin, Texas. He would make us weightless. Of course, it wasn't 3 minutes at a time. It was more like 30 seconds.
Indeed. So, and you had this opportunity. What was it like to be on the launch pad, knowing it wasn't the simulator, knowing it was the real deal?
I know. I said, oh my goodness, somebody painted our training room to look like outdoors, because it was just like what we had trained in. We had a 10-minute delay, and I truly felt like my father was there just to support me. The blast off reminded me of when I would go for a drive with Daddy in his Corvette, and we would hit a real long, flat, straight area, and he would floor it, and I'd be forced back into my seat, and that's what launching felt like, only it was a little more powerful.
No, I would say a lot more powerful indeed there. So now here we are, 60 years removed from your father's initial mission, and the fact that we are starting to generate more excitement about space. How are you continuing to carry the message about our need for space exploration?
I'm doing lots of talks. Elementary school, Rotary, Kiwanis, GAR, the Denver Museum of Natural History.
Pretty much anybody would ask, right?
That's exactly right.
That's it. And how are the kids receiving the word about space exploration?
The kids meaning
Children.
Worldwide children. I don't know, other than astronauts are talking to them.
That's what we got to do. We got to keep the message burning right there. And you mentioned now, our world is so much different. Other countries have developed more in the past 60 years and developing their own programs. So it's great to see that the world is now cognizant of the fact that space exploration is there.
Yes, the private enterprises, the private guys are making it, like SpaceX. Once a week we have a rocket go up. It's amazing.
And we're so very fortunate to be close enough to see most of those. So it's pretty awesome. So
go to the roof of our condo unit to watch them. Okay. We're 2 miles away.
Oh, you've got it made. I'm 60 miles away, so it's just a little more difficult for me. Right. Laura, thank you so much for your time, and God bless you for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much. It was really fun. I will tell you that.
And that's what it is. It's all about fun. Thank you.
Thank you.